when do you think you really made the most improvement in your life?
When my wife started going to church and I started seeing how our everyday life that didn't change, she was in a happier mood. I wanted to be like, well, what are you doing? You got to get yourself together before you start going to church. You got to be right before you start going to church. That ain't it. It was fucked up for me thinking that, because
at the end of the day, I mean, that's just the devil talking to you and trying to bring you closer to temptation.
the most valuable thing I have in life is time. Choose your family first and you'll never go wrong. You'll never go wrong. That's why people who know me and people who have seen where I'm at right now can't help but applaud and congratulate. The harder it is to get there, the more appreciative you are when you do get there.
I come in here, it looks professional. Tune into the content.
Welcome back, everybody, with a special episode of Direct Discussion Podcast, a podcast dedicated to deep diving individuals just like you. Guys, we have a very special guest on our hands today. All right, we got the Este Playa Pod in the building, the Flavo Chacha from K104, the Latino Al Pacino from 104.5, nobody else, one half of Highrollaz, Accomplice in the building.
Let's go. Appreciate you having us here today, bro. Thank you for coming here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm a fan. I've seen some of, you know, like with the UFC fighter and XB Valentine and stuff like that. I like when people have good questions.
Yeah, of course. Gotta have the good questions.
I applaud y'all for that.
I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to get right into it, man. You know, you've been in the music game for about 20 years, give or take.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy, man, you know, and, you know, I know why you got your name and how you got your name, but for those who don't know, how'd you come up with the name Accomplice?
Well, I was in prison by 17, 18 years old. So just being outside, that was my charges. I was always with, if it wasn't me doing it, I was with the people doing it. So just being an affiliate and being a criminal, you know, I was an accomplice to my charges. So I just ran with it.
That's funny. That's actually a good reason why that would be your name. Because I mean, that's what we would all first think of too.
Yeah, you know, when you're an accessory to a actual crime. But the thing is like, you know, rap is rhythm and poetry. So being incarcerated as a teenager, like at 17 years old, my birthday, I'm a Sagittarius, at the end of November, and I got charged on New Year's. So I was only 17 for a month. They had an option to send me back to juvie or send me, you know, to the big boys. And I talked so much trash to the police officers. They sent me, you know, to county. And then after posting bond, after being in there about a week, they went further with the process. And me not wanting to cooperate and you know, going through what we went through, it went to the next level. And I was offered probation and I turned it down. And that's when the judge sentenced me to prison time. So when I went, being so young in there, you know, most people graduate at that age, you know, senior in high school. I'm going to a farm and I just thought, you know, I had game in there. A lot of people were doing years. So when they would get letters, I'd be like, man, let me help you write your letters. So I noticed there was money in that. So when people had, like, my homeboy could draw, a lot of the Mexicans in there are so talented at art. I would see them draw and they're like, man, this is for this guy's daughter. He's been locked up 6 years. And I'm like, let me write a Daddy's Little Princess poem. So I wrote a poem. We sold it for $6 and we split it 3 and 3. And, you know, you get payment in food. So say $3 worth of food, it's 25 cents for a soup and 50 cents for a can of chicken. We spread that up and I wrote that poem and people loved it so much. They kept, man, write me a poem. And rap is rhythm and poetry. I wrote so many poems, I started writing my own rhymes about my life. So upon release, when I'm 19 and I get out, I had all these rhymes. I never rapped, never had ambition to be a rapper, none of that.
Would you have them writing down in a journal or just like on separate sheets and stuff?
Just a sheet of paper. And then when I got out, I knew them I had memorized. And I ended up being at a studio and I spit the rhymes. And at that time, that movie 8 Mile had come out.
Oh,
so like people were like rhyming in the corner, battling and stuff. So, you know, I think preparation meets opportunity. And I just think that God's always gave me the gift of gab, and I think you have to use your talents. And it was just a time where I showcased my talent. Like I got away with words.
All right, so when you got out, what was the next step after that? Because you were writing these rhymes, you hit the studio, so we were like, all right, I'm gonna take studio time more serious. I'm gonna take writing more serious.
Well, at that time, they used to have I don't know what they were called, man, the actual verbatim. They would have like contests at bars, like kind of like rap battles, I would say. But sometimes it'd be a beat, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they just be like, anybody want to hop on the mic? Open mic.
Open mic.
That's what they were called.
Uh-huh.
And I would do those. And not everybody would rap. Some people would go up there with their
maybe a guitar, sing.
Yeah. Or even just poetry.
Okay.
That they would say, but there's a word for it. They would say, like, they were very passionate. Sometimes they wouldn't even rhyme. They would just talk about a topic.
Are you talking about like spoken word?
Yes.
Oh, okay, got you.
I went to one of them, and there was a guy who had a record label, and he was there with his wife doing spoken word, and they had noticed me. He was like, man, I got a music studio. You should come to my studio. And then that led to something else, and then I started working with producers. But I had no idea, like, how to write bars or how to conduct a song. I just knew how to say stuff passionately. Yeah. And I would say stuff that kind of,
gravitated towards certain people in the neighborhood. Because coming out of Fort Worth, correct me if I'm wrong, you're from like Fort Worth. What part of Fort Worth you're from?
I'm not from Fort Worth.
No?
I'm from Salina, Texas.
No kidding.
From Salina.
Is that like in the middle of the country?
Yes.
I was gonna say, because I don't think that's near any
Population
city.
was 3,000 back then.
What's it near? Is it near here or
north of Frisco?
Oh, okay. It's even further. So that makes sense why you moved to Frisco. It's kind of near home.
Well, when I started getting in trouble and stuff as a teenager, we moved to North Dallas. My family moved to North Dallas. Mm-hmm. But by then, only made it to ninth grade of school. So by then, I was already outside in the street. So I didn't necessarily go to school in Dallas. Mm-hmm. I was already at that point where now it's time to get money. Where it led to my criminal charges. And, it led to the next endeavor of my life. But being released and being a teenager, you grow up fast. So once I was outside, I knew I had to get a job. I had to work. I didn't know what it was. And then at that time, you could go to a studio, record a song, and burn it. Like they would have burned CDs, and then you can go sell them. So the next thing you know, I'm at Trader's Village in a booth selling music, like this.
And this was like about roughly around 20 years ago, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, like 04, give or take.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy to think about that, because it's like, damn, dude, like y'all guys had it. I don't know how to say it, because yes, y'all guys had it hard because it was harder to get your content out there, and you have to work for it a lot more. But at the same time too, nowadays it's way more competitive to put music out there, because everybody and their mom wants to be a producer or a songwriter or a singer.
Yeah. Way oversaturated, in my opinion, way oversaturated.
To me, what made it so easy is everybody could record in their closet now and at home. Back then, owning a studio
was key.
Was a lot more expensive. It was a lot more. Not everybody could work this equipment. Now you just need a computer and a microphone, and you can make magic happen with all the plugins and stuff they have. But back then, it was, to have all that equipment, it took quite a bit of funding. And the dude that I knew, he worked at UPS or one of them postal things. He made like 30-something hours, so he had money and he was into the hip hop game. But what was crazy was how fast I was able to put it in the studio, put it on disc, and start making money off of it. Because these people wouldn't hear the music. I just had to be a salesman to sell it. So if they wouldn't buy my music, we were pretty much being pirates and piracy of other music. Like we'd have a Snoop Dogg's greatest hits, Tupac's greatest hits. And I'd be like, if you buy these 2 CDs, I'll give you mine for free. So you're getting Package 3 for 20. And if they listen to my CD or not, it didn't matter. I got the $20. And then the DVD era came where now we're burning DVD movies and CDs. So we were making money cash in hand, but we were just doing hand-to-hand sales. Like I would ride with a backpack, whether it was a train or a bus, and just sell them there.
What's crazy about the whole scenario too is like during that wave, I want to say from maybe like '05 to maybe like 2013, CDs were real big inside of cars where they would have the little screen.
Yeah.
You'd be able to watch it or plug it in, and everybody was playing those things.
Yeah.
I could just see it vividly. People would be driving Chrysler 300s or 200s. They got the screen in the middle, and they're playing the newest video that's coming out at that time.
Yeah, and so at that time we would put the music videos on there and add our music video on there, and it would go. And that's whenever I got into the club scene, because people were like, "Hey, you're pretty popular." Now we're passing out flyers. I'm working at bars. I've been working in the bar since 2008. I'm hosting the clubs, and this is like, Lower Greenville and these type of scenes that aren't there now because it all got gentrified. But back then it was like all hip hop and even Deep Ellum. It's going back to that now, but there was a time where it was all rap. Now there's only certain hip hop clubs, but at that time, we had places to go. It was real segregated. Like you would go for your hip hop, and if you wanted country, you'd go here. And if you were LGBTQ, you'd go to Oak Lawn. And,
Oak Lawn.
You knew where to go to get your fix, pretty much, I guess, to put it.
So, okay, so you started you selling CDs and, on the backpack, on the trains, whatnot. How long after that did you link up with Word Life and then started Highrollaz?
That's how I met him. Being outside. He was outside as well. And then back then, when you would go to the club environment or whatever, the DJ would literally put on instrumentals, and we would rap. It was a crazy time because you don't see that no more. Now you may get a drunk guy freestyling in your ear.
You don't want that.
But yeah, it's like, hey man, I'm just trying to have a good time with my wife. You're like, hey, you work at the radio? Hey, check out my song. Well, y'all hear it later. Now I'm going to perform it live right here at the bar.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
You tell me if you like it.
Yeah, so. But yeah, back then, me and Word Life actually battled. And I won. And,
when y'all battled, was it at like one of those like open mics type of thing, or was this just like between y'all in the studio?
Well, at that time, I guess he was popular at that bar. Like me, I would go to different spots. So that he was with his homies, and me, I was, I like a challenge. So I went in there and I initiated the making fun of.
Yeah.
So
I'm dead. He's like, all right, 8 Mile just came out not too many years ago. I'm still feeling this movie. I might have just left the bar watching the movie.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm going to go in there, look for the biggest guy in the yard. All right, I got you.
kind of. But I thought that was the only way from my era to show that you were better.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense though, one-on-one basically.
Because people would a lot of times get on the mic and spit rhymes they've been spitting every week at that bar, just in front of a new audience
over and over again.
I wasn't like that. I was like, I can go and see what you're wearing, and I got a punchline.
That's like the whole. I can't even think of it now. I think it is still now where they have it's called battle rap or something like that, where they actually have it. There's been many guys that come from those battle raps and they start creating that personality and start branching off into other things.
Yeah, and I'm friends with a lot of them. Like, real good friend of mine, Cortez from New York, probably the biggest Latin battle rapper in the world. Good friend of mine. We have an album together. Sue Surf, a good friend of mine, Free to Wave. Shotgun Shug, just, I got music with all these people because I was a fan and I respected the sport that they're in. It's not easy to do. So I think when you're in that type of sport or you understand the rules, whether it's football or combat sport or, a sport of war with words, you respect somebody that's in it and be like, hey man, it's not easy to do.
Yeah, no, that seems too hard. Like you just said, you walk in the room and you're like, I'm already ready to fire you up. Like that's on a whole nother level of mental capacity to just start thinking of what goes good with this, what rhymes good with that, this word, that word, blue, sue, do, and then you just start mixing it all up.
Plus,
and it all
I
flows.
stayed ready. Just always writing rhymes. Like you would see an 8 Mile when he's on the bus writing rhymes. Like that was literally me because I never, if you were to say I came from having a silver spoon, nah, it wasn't silver, it wasn't wood, it wasn't even plastic. It's like I came from eating with my hands. It wasn't none of that. Like that's why people who know me And people who have seen where I'm at right now can't help but applaud and congratulate. Because it's like, bro, I've seen you. A lot of people think I came out of nowhere or it was overnight. And I know that because the conversations I've been with, like, man, you just came to K104 like from nowhere. It's like, that is nowhere near the case. And I would love to tell my story, not to boost myself up or not to say that I did anything, but I just thought God put me through this hard road to travel down. Like, there's a road over here that's paved highway, and then there's this road that is muddy and has potholes, and there's fences you got to climb and tunnels you got to go through. I went through that road so that when I got to the same place as the guy with a paved road on a motor scooter, I can be like, hey, yeah, we're at the same place, but my road was a little different. And the people behind me, I could be like, bro, it's possible to make, because my definition of success, being 40 years old, and I came here with my children, it's not, yes, I'm buying a house, so I'm a homeowner. That was a goal. Yes, I have kids I'm close with. That was a goal. Yes, I have a career that I love to be in and I enjoy doing. That was a goal. Yes, I have a beautiful wife who I, could only imagine is also my best friend. That was a goal. But as I start checking off my goals and what I did to get them, that success story and my relationship with God, knowing I had to go through this hard road so I could tell people it's possible. The devil doesn't create, God doesn't create doubt. God doesn't create worry. God doesn't create, you can't do it. That's the devil putting those thoughts in your head. He only promotes love and positivity and all this. So the devil's going to put those, you're on your walk and then a block falls and now you got to get around it so that you have doubt and you want to stop and you want to turn around. You want to sit down and take a break. But you just got to know, man, the harder it is to get there, the more appreciative you are when you do get there.
Yep, they call it like a 10-year night over success. Or like a 10-year overnight success is what they call it. Like, everybody else thinks you made it overnight, but not knowing you were years on years on years of grinding. They don't know that you went up and down and everything like that. So you being able to tell your story is so great. So with that whole process, when do you think you really made the most improvement in your life? Is it when you had your first kid and you were like, oh, I need to straighten out right now? Or when was it for you?
When I found out my wife was pregnant with my first son, I knew it was go time. I was like, he's not going to have the predicaments in the environment, the atmosphere that I grew up in.
That was already the first goal.
That was, yes.
The first goal.
Like, my son started out in private school, they've been boxing since they were 4 years old. I put them through that so that they would understand. Not everybody has this, but the only way I could show them that is by not saying yes to everything. Like, if my son wants a Lamborghini, say I give it to you. You're not going to appreciate it, where if I say, cut the grass for 10 years, then you get it. Because now when you have the Lamborghini, the one you always wanted, you're going to take care of it a lot more. You'll be like, you know what I did to get this Lamborghini?
10 years I waited.
I put in 10 years of cutting grass. Instead of me just giving you the keys, and now you just dogging it, treating out like, wow.
I get another one of these. Yeah. Quick and easy.
Yeah. What's the saying? It's always better when you earn it.
Yeah, it's always better when you earn it. If it's given to you, you feel like you can just do it again. Like, if you just find money on the ground, you're like, oh, I can blow this away because you didn't work hard for it. But if you work hard for that $20,000 and you do whatever it is, you're like, I'm less lenient to want to spend it because I know how hard I worked to get this $20,000. This might be all I have, but I know I'm not going to just start spending it everywhere because I worked 3-4 days a week, 5 days a week trying to get this $20,000, and I'm right here. I'm not going to just start splurging it. And that's what a lot of people do. They start thinking, oh, since I got this money, I'll start spending it here, not knowing they should just be saving it and, pushing it later for a rainy day, thinking about their kids' future, maybe opening up a insurance, like loan. I mean, not loan. What is it called?
Business.
Insurance business or whatever it is, just doing different things, like just so you can help prepare your kids for the future. because that's the main thing I feel like we all want to do is when like you just said right there. As soon as I had my kid, it was that same thing. It's like it's go time. It's go time now. There's no more, oh, I want to be lazy or whatever. It's go time. If you're tired, it don't matter. You just go time now.
Yeah, it was straight go time, and I knew it. But I've always looked at myself as one of them people. I'm a procrastinator until the pressure's on. I shine under pressure.
Yeah.
You know what? I can relate to that too because I'm the same way, dude. I'm like, no, I'll put it on. I'll put it off. I was like, okay, it's all right. Go time. Now, like for example, when I was in school, and I don't know what it was, but school was so easy for me, dude. Like I didn't do homework. I mean, I didn't do homework. Like, oh, you got 2 weeks to do this. Those 2 weeks, nah, whatever.
Yeah.
Day of, bam.
Day of, now let's go.
Bro, day of, the day before, dude. Straight A's, man.
You're dropping gems
You're a
that when
beast,
you're you turn it in.
But I think that also has to relate to maybe the kind of environment you grew up in, because it's like, yeah, you grew up in this certain environment. Like for me, for example, I grew up in a single mother household and I was the oldest of all my siblings. And it was like, all right, well, I'm making way more decisions on their behalf than they have to make decisions for themselves. Cause obviously I'm the oldest one. And you might look at it in the very small, minute things where it's like, okay, well, your mom goes out to the club, leaves you, take care of your siblings. Bam. Okay. So now I'm like, okay, what's that noise? All right, everybody, shh. Somebody's knocking on the door. We don't know. All right, guys, what do we do? They're like, oh my God, what do we do? I was like, bro, just go to the room. Like, whatever. They bust in, fuck it, whatever. But, I think that just also, we just grew up in that environment where everything was moving so quick. And it was just like, damn, dude, what's next, man? The whole time my mom's like, yeah, I'm getting ready to go to the club. And, long story short, it's just, if you grow up in an environment where you have a lot of stimulus going around, you're going to be quick to think at the last minute instead of having to prepare for what you have going on. And I feel like, with you going through what you went through from, associating with the wrong crowd, going to jail, all of that kind of put you in that position where now that you as a father and, Father's Day is what, 2 days?
3 days.
Yeah.
2-3 days.
Yeah.
I celebrate the whole weekend, so it's now.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So when did you start taking, or when did the belief and want to for God to come more into your life and your values want to grow?
That's a good question.
Yeah. To piggyback off that before you answer, my dad, when I hear you talk about your story from, going to jail, coming out, and then, the family being like, okay, I got a house check and got kids, wife check. I was on the phone call with my dad, and it's just this conversation where I have right now is resonating with me simply because he was telling me the same thing. Well, man, not a lot of people know what I went through to get to where I'm at. And that's why I'm like, man, dude, it's crazy to think because we don't really talk to people older than us who can share that kind of wisdom. And for that, I just want to take a minute to appreciate you coming out here from where you're living just to kind of share that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I say, people measure success different because you could be a millionaire and hate your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could be lonely and not have no real friends and trying to determine who's with me for because it's, if it's beneficial to them, it's artificial for you because they're just there for what you could do for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I checked off my success by this is what I wanted. And that's where I'm at. So I consider myself a success story. But my relationship with God, just being, both my parents I seen how hard they had it. And I knew this has got to be for something, like we never took family vacations. I became fortunate enough that I paid for my family to go on a family vacation. Like I took my mom to the beach, and I can't say, I know I keep saying I did this, and I really need to correct myself because really God blessed me with the wisdom and the knowledge to make these things happen. And I think once I started looking at things different, it made me want to change not just my outlook of stuff, but my reaction to stuff. Like instead of like, I gotta go to work today. It's like, yo.
It's like, I get to go to work.
Yeah, I'm glad I got a fucking job.
Yeah.
That's why if you have a job out there and that job allows you to work and pay for your bills and put food on the table and clothes on their back and then allows you days off or vacation days or whatever so that you can spend with your family, that's success. Because your house is the dream to someone homeless.
Yep.
Your health is a dream to somebody who's handicapped. Like, you know, your vision is a dream to the blind.
We take advantage of,
your steps are a dream to the paralyzed. Like, what you're going through is somebody's dream. And we have to be appreciative. I could wake up every day and be like, man, I ain't got this. Or I can be like, yo, I got a fucking car outside.
Mm-hmm.
I got, you know. So I think when we start looking at things different, it makes you embrace the day different. And my wife was the one who started going to church because I was working at the club 6 days a week. I was drinking. You know, I was doing me, you know, because I thought that was going to lead to success. I thought I needed to be in more networking events. I need to do more of this. I need to do more of this. When not realizing, you know, I was getting farther away from stability and
The family.
Yeah, I'm not just here to work and die. I'm not just this. Yes, I'm a provider, but I'm not just that. I'm a father. I'm a husband. You know, I'm a teacher. I'm all this.
Yeah.
I'm a role model to these children. They have to look at my dad and be like, yeah, my dad was out there getting it, but he was never at home.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't throwing no football with me. He wasn't going to my game.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't doing this. No, they ain't gonna say that about me, you know, because I'm there. Like, I'm trying to be active. You know, even though I'm doing the wrong shit. Like, you gotta do it like this, sir. At least have the option. So you be like, Dad, you're doing it wrong. Well, now you know how not to do it. You know?
Instead of you not even being there and being present, because I feel like a lot of dads like to bring up the excuse of, well, I got to be the main breadwinner. I got to do this. I got to do that. Instead of, like you're saying, making the family the priority. Because
that's why I quit touring.
Because if you make the family their priority, you're mentally going to feel so much more better that it'll slowly, gradually go back into the way you work and how you do work and how you want to perceive work.
Exactly. When my wife started going to church and I started seeing how our everyday life that didn't change, she was in a happier mood. I wanted to be like, well, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You used to be mad all the time. You used to hate. Now, what do you got going on? What are they telling you at church?
What are they
saying? You see the guy there? You talking to the pastor? What's going on here? I want to go. And before that, I thought, well, you got to get yourself together before you start going to church.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be right before you start going to church. That ain't it. It was fucked up for me thinking that, because you go fucked up to church and then he'll start fixing you.
With time. You got to be consistent.
You'll start wanting to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to go hungover and I was like, damn, I don't even want to drink no more. I got, like, he starts fixing you. And that's what I thought was dope. And then the church that I was going to, you know, sometimes people have a bad experience with church. They're like, oh, I'm done with church. I had a bad experience with church. And I'm like, well, bro, I've got food poisoning before. It doesn't mean I'm never going to eat again.
Right.
Like,
That's a
you
good
had a
analogy.
bad experience with that church and those church people. Don't put that on all churches.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Go to a different church. Hey, I had bad Indian food over here. Doesn't mean I'm going to quit eating. Say, I'm just going to go somewhere different until you find it. But I just think the church really, really changed my life. It really changed my outlook. And it was able to... see, people don't understand sacrifice, in my opinion. You know, everything I say is just my opinion. But people don't understand sacrifice. And I felt like, man, you know, when I was touring all the time, I thought that was success. When I got my first 1 million views, I thought that was success. When I made over $10,000 on a song, I thought that was success. But when you're spending every holiday on tour, and you're spending like the holidays, the 4th of July, the Labor Days, Memorial Day, that's when these concerts are going down.
Mm-hmm.
That's when these big events are going down. These spring breaks, these Thanksgiving breaks, these Halloweens,
New Year's.
This is where I'm at when I could have been with my family.
Mm-hmm. Enjoying the memories.
So what am I going to do? Chase this? Or am I going to sacrifice and stand for something and say, I ain't doing it no more? To me, I was being a yeah man. Yeah, I'm down. I'm doing it. I got to do this big show so I can get out there. I'm down, man. Yeah, I need all them eyes and ears to. It wasn't about what I said yes to. People started respecting me more for what I said no to.
Mm-hmm.
I said, nah, I ain't doing it. You ain't gonna do this Halloween bash? Nah, man, I'm gonna go trick or treat on my kid.
Yep.
Because I ain't gonna get that back. The most valuable thing I have in life is time.
Especially
and they're gonna
right
get
now.
that.
Right now,
I don't give a
especially
fuck
when
what
they're
you
young.
pay me. So you're gonna turn down this money? Yes. No. And I ain't saying no more. Don't
You
call me
know,
about it again.
I like the fact that you brought that up because I had a similar experience yesterday. Because there was a networking event that I was planning to attend yesterday, and it was like, okay, I'm driving, I'm going down 360. You know, I get on 30, and then the whole time in the back of my head, I'm just like, but Inside Out 2 came out today, and you know, my daughter wants to go see Inside Out 2, and I'm like, and then my girl's like, oh, we can just go Tuesday or you know some other day, and the whole time I'm driving, I'm looking at the traffic, you know, it's stop and go. I'm like, bro, I'm looking at the movie tickets. I'm driving. I'm like 7:30. I was like, the whole time I'm just conflicted, man.
Yeah.
And I know the right thing to do, and it's like it. I don't know what it took, but I was also playing the scene and from Everybody Hates Chris, where Julius had Father's Day, and all he wanted was to be away from his family that day. Towards the end of the day, it was like, damn, I miss my family, and I was thinking about that the whole drive until I got off of the freeway and then just made a whole U-turn. I get home, take off my clothes, and I'm like, all right. I called my girl because she went to the store real quick with my daughter, and I'm like, hey, I got those movie tickets. I didn't go. I was like, I felt really bad the whole drive there. And just thinking about that, I'm like, dude, what if I had went there, you know, just ignored that guilt, go there, and then now I'm there not having a good time because in the back of my head, I'm just thinking about like the movie came out today. We should have just went.
Because what happens is you start putting your family second. And now you're like, oh, I ain't got nothing going on. What we gonna do? Oh, now we get your time.
Yeah.
Oh, now they don't want it. My sons want me to pick them. My wife wants me to choose her like I did when we first started. No, I'd rather do this. I'd rather turn my fucking phone off. I'm choosing to do this podcast. I just got 2 calls right now. Nothing stop.
Yep.
I'm choosing to give y'all my time. That's valuable to me because I feel sometimes there's shit I gotta say, and there's maybe somebody out there listening will listen to this. And I'm telling you out there, if you listen to this, sacrifice it. Say no. Choose your family first, and you'll never go wrong. You'll never go wrong because them opportunities will start gravitating towards you. People will start missing you. Don't be your family the one that's missing you. Everyone's getting the best of you, and they're getting the rest of you. No. Say no. Give them their time. Choose what you want to do. That way, when you do it, be like, motherfucker, I'm here. Y'all lucky to get me. What we doing? We taking pictures. All right. We said we networking. What's up? I'm here. I chose to be here. I'm gonna give it 100% while I'm here. If I'm not here, fuck it.
Yeah, I think the whole best part about this is that you brought your kids. That's just even more showing how humble you are and how genuine you are about the whole situation of life. And saying, hey, I'm choosing my family. You come do this with me. Because now they get to
But I told them, I said, I want to do it before the Mavs game. So we can watch the Mavs game. We're going to get something to eat. We're going to do that. Because there's time for everything if you make it.
Yeah.
But I just want to know that they're involved. Hey, I got to do this. You're going to come with me. Get your ass up. Get dressed. Let's roll.
Yeah.
I want you to come with me. See what your daddy does. And then let's go. Let's go watch the game. Let's have a good time. But they have to be involved. You know what I'm saying? My wife wasn't working. She'd be here too. Because I'm a family man and I have to prove that. So, you know, I was at a point where it was gang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was entourage. It was gang. It was me and the fellas. You know what I'm saying? Ride or die. But I've leveled up. And the plateau that I'm at now, I'm really enjoying the view. Really enjoying the view.
Like a bird's eye view. Looking over everything, you can see it a lot better.
Not that I'm above everyone else. It's just that where I'm at in my life, I just feel that I've really elevated to the point where I see a lot more.
Yeah, mentally, you're doing a lot better than what it was back then.
But also, too, I think that also comes with, you know, just, you know, growing up and actually going through a bunch of stuff. Because I feel like I understand where you're coming from, but it feels like for me, that happened to me at a much earlier rate. Like with my dad, you know, like he was so out in the streets, staying out late at the apartments he was working at as a maintenance man, getting drunk. He has 4 kids with my stepmom. You know, we're chasing him down there, bringing him back drunk, picking up his truck the next day. Dude, it was crazy, man.
Sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah, it was just a wild time.
Yeah, but it makes you feel away.
Yeah.
And then you start feeling for your mother and your siblings. And then you start feeling, like I said, his homies are getting the best of him and you're getting the rest of them. And even if you had, like when I had the next day off and the night before I got all shit-faced, well, now they got to hung over me.
Not to fool you.
Exactly. So that's when I had to say I'm sacrificing. I'm not drinking tonight. you know, and you know, when you're outside, like I was, to the point where, like, man, you get called every name in the book for turning down a drink. Everybody take a shot.
Yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
drinking that. Oh, you bitch. Pussy. I gotta go home. Look at this. Like, you know, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
because at the
Every
end of the
time.
day,
I'm built for it.
Yeah,
You know,
every time.
That shit don't phase me.
yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's just the devil talking to you and trying to bring you closer to temptation. Be like, okay, take one shot. One shot leads to 3 or 4, maybe a beer.
For sure.
Hell, if they got cocaine at the party, I mean, bro, I don't know what you get into, but you know that
It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, exactly, exactly, man. But you mentioning all of this, and it's like, okay, so it all happened gradually, or was there an epiphany that happened for you where it was like that maybe that one time you got drunk way too bad, and it was just like, fuck, okay,
Oh, yeah.
I really got to change.
Yeah, there's always those. But
Which was the one that stuck with you the most?
that's a good question.
Yeah, because if you think about it, everyone says, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that no more." Then they go right back to it. But that final time that it happened to you, which one was it?
I quit the club life
Toxic life right there.
October 1st of 2023, and I still remember it. And I used to work at the clubs all the time, and then I would work at the after hours, and I would be out late, and I was still going to church though. But the thing is, it's like you're playing both sides.
Yeah, exactly what I was gonna
So
say.
let's say this is a ladder, and this is a ladder, and I'm climbing the ladder, and I'm in the middle. I'm the microphone, and I'm climbing the ladder, and I'm climbing the ladder, and then this ladder's getting this way. Ladder's getting this way. Your legs can't stay on both ladders. Eventually, you're gonna have to pick a ladder.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I chose the God side.
Yeah.
I left the club side, and I had to make a sacrifice. But when I did that, opportunity started gravitating to me because God said, "I know now you're ready. Now you're mentally ready for what I have next to store for you in life." You know what? K104 emails me. We notice what you're doing. We see what you're doing on 89.3. We notice we're looking for. We would like for you to be that we're transitioning. We're trying to, whatever they're going through. Maybe they're trying to be like, we're the 4th largest market in America. So, the only ones bigger are like New York and LA. And when you notice those type of radio stations, they're black and brown.
Yep.
Maybe they're trying to transition to that. I'm not sure. But what do? You look for a Mexican who's intertwined with the streets, who's respected, and it could have been anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it was me. That opportunity came when I chose to go on this ladder because I was mentally ready for it. Sometimes people who ain't ready for it, say you ain't been cool ever, and then they give you a fucking radio job. Now you're at all the concerts and you're at all this. Then you're like, you become an asshole because you're not used to being popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not used to girls coming to you. So you start cheating on your girlfriend. You start doing stuff that you just couldn't handle, the fame or whatever it is. You couldn't handle it. You give a motherfucker that's broke some money. What do? They buy dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like me, I was buying chains and buying all this stuff. Now I own land. Now I'm buying a house. Now you start wising it up because you get mentally ready. But I had to pick this ladder. I couldn't ride both sides of the fence. I couldn't be the club dude and the church dude. I couldn't be. Nah. When I chose God, God said, "You're ready.
It's almost
'Cause I got a
contradicting.
lot more for you." Once he knew I was able to handle it. Okay, here you go.
Yeah, it's almost contradicting to say like you're in the club scene and then you're going to church every day. So it's like you said, you just kind of got to pick the side. Which one do you want to be on? And I think the
Are you
thing
a
is,
family
too-
man or are you this? Are you
yeah,
this or are you
and I
this?
think you've seen it or you felt it where you were like, I know what I'm going to get out of the club scene every time I go, but I don't know what I'm going to get out of going to church every Sunday. I don't know yet, but I know what I'm going to get here. And you just start saying, I'd rather go down this road because I know what's going to happen here, but I don't even know what's here yet. And I think that's where I want to go. Yeah. And you felt it. So you were like, I got to get out of it. I got to get out of everything. So at what point in your life did you find what meant success to you? Because all of us have different definitions of what success is for us. So when did you find what success was for you? Like you said, you wanted to have the house, be there for your kids, have a wife. Where did you find that? Is that whenever you went back? I mean, whenever you started going to church more, or when did you have those ideas of what success meant to you?
When I was able to pick what I'm doing on my time.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, I literally get to choose what I want to do on my time. And even when I go to work, I don't feel like I'm going to work because I would have did it for free. I worked at 89.3. It's a community radio station. I did it for free.
How long were you at 89.3?
2 years
2 years doing it
for free because I loved doing it, and I loved, I got paid doing other stuff because but just being there and having it's community radio station. You do it for free. Now you're allowed to make money off of other stuff outside of that leads because you're there.
Yeah.
But being there wasn't, which is what led to getting a contract that came in 04. And it's like, I love this radio stuff. I love it. It's not the club, but I still love the music scene. And I love putting people on, and I love doing the events, and love, finding talent and stuff like that. And just like making music. I love making music. I love being in the studio. My sons have been there with me. Now I'm making different kind of music, which y'all go ahead and check out my song. It just dropped today, Accomplice. It's called Someone Up Above. Hopefully all y'all could, it's on every streaming platform you can think of. Shout out Music Access for putting my music out. I don't know if the genre is Christian rap or if you just call it a song with substance. I wasn't satisfied with people saying I heard your song. I'm a lot more satisfied when someone tells you, yo, that song, felt that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Felt that shit.
That's another level.
That's another level of what you thought about my song.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of response I wanted.
It's deeper.
So when I started measuring success, I was like, I got time today. Am I gonna do it with my kids? Am I gonna do? Because I'm not out chasing the bag no more.
Mm-hmm.
The bag's coming to me. I literally turned down events that offer money because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you can pick and choose now.
Yeah, and God made it to where He's like, hey, I respect what you got going on. If I'm like, nah, that's going to cause me to do this, and we got church the next day, or my son's going to camp, or whatever it may be. But my success came off of when I was able to control the most valuable thing I have, and that's my time. That's whenever I was like, this is success. Because when you got money and you got all this other shit, and you can just pick what you want to do with your time, which is why I started realizing why homeless motherfuckers in California be so happy.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
They ain't got shit to do. Weather's perfect. It's like, I'm gonna go chill on the beach. Fuck
They
it.
got nothing but time over
It's
there.
like, no wonder why hippies were a thing. Like,
Yeah.
Let's just chill,
smoke
relax.
some weed, chill, my dog, like, fucking fish. Like, no wonder.
So I got a 2-part question. One, how did you get involved with KNON? And two, what kind of importance do you think community radio has in the DFW market nowadays? Because back then, I remember my dad and my stepmom and her mom would listen to KNON all the time for whatever specific person was on the radio. But nowadays, streaming platforms are everything nowadays.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is why something like KNON, I'm indebted to. And I appreciate everything they did for me because they really let me shine and showcase my talent. And I think, when God gives you a talent, if you look at my son's chain, shout out to the King's Child. It says, use your talents, use your gifts. The King's Child's a clothing line. Shout out my man War. Man, I had his glass in the car. I should have worn, but he'll sponsor for me. I love, being a brand ambassador to all these dope brands. So many dope clothing lines out there, but he is a Christian-based clothing line, and the whole use your gifts. But one thing I love about community radio is there's nothing but good people there because they're giving you their time for free, and you could donate money if you enjoy that show. You donate money, and that'll keep that show going. So all the shows on there are popular shows that people love, and these people do it for the love.
Yeah.
And DJ Kane was the one who seen my opportunity, and he was like, man, you always had your ear to the streets. Like I remember, booking Big X when he was first coming out, and booking Crystal Poppin and Rich Greedy, and, being on Cap G and all these people who were just up and coming. And I've always had an ear for that. Like, man, they're talented. Even XB Valentine, who y'all have had up here. If you ask her, like she was opening up for the Highrollaz and doing shows with me before Smooth Baker came into the picture. So like, Crystal Poppin as well. It's some of these people I had an ear to, and I'm like, man, they got a little something. And I enjoyed it so much. But community radio, all those people are there by choice, and all those people are there. They're not playing their own music.
No,
they're broadcasting other talents. They're literally democracy radio. They're literally playing what y'all want to hear.
That's amazingly dope. And I think that's
the respect.
That's a hard part about it is that a lot of people don't go to community radio, I guess, to listen to the new up and coming artists. From what I see,
They
and I feel
skip
like
it. When I got there, I kind of brought that back Because sometimes people want to go where the cool crowd is, or they want to go until you get that cool motherfucker that's like, hey, you ever seen Adam Sandler? Billy Madison?
Yeah.
The kid pees on his pants and he puts water in his pants. It's cool to pee in your pants. Sometimes you need somebody. And I just thought a lot of them, you know, the Renegade Radios, a lot of them, they were older genre. So when Kane had this brilliant idea to introduce KNON Now, which was on an app, which was recorded shows. And then my show is a hip hop show from 4 to 6 p.m. No commercials. You listen to a hip hop show, you download the app, everything's for free. And it's recorded. So if you missed the show, you can listen to it later. I'm getting downloads and replays all on the show that's on an app. Nonstop hip hop. Like my show was current hip hop. It was genius. Because now these KNON Nows are getting you ready, you know, your radio etiquette, your whole delivery, your whole show procedure, organization, itinerary, ready for FM. Because you have to go to college, you go to broadcasting school for stuff like this. This is literally like rehearsal live.
Yeah.
With an audience.
And it's all at the tap of your fingers.
Yeah, and we were getting such great feedback from all these new shows that it got me on FM radio. And I was only on FM radio a month. I went to K104 because of KNON Now. And it was a genius idea because that democracy radio that you want to hear really is birthing a whole new format to 89.3 because these old people, they're just, I mean, man, look at Easy Eddie D, the hip hop guy now. He's like 70 years old.
Yeah.
It's like, literally, how long are you going to do it? Not knocking him with all due respect, but it's just like, hey, maybe he wants to do something else. You know, like you could retire from that too.
Yeah.
But when you talk to these people, they don't feel comfortable until they're like, all right, now it's in good hands.
See, that's the good thing, like you're saying, is that since your ears to the streets, you're able to listen to a lot more of the upcoming artists. And that's all a lot of these smaller artists need is just to get their music out there. And for them to really try to reach out to you would be so great. Obviously, I know you can't play everybody's music, but obviously that was the community one. But I know you can't play everybody's music. But how do you, back at that time, how would y'all go about choosing people's music? Was it because you liked it or he liked it and y'all would just like pick through it, or how would that go?
Well, yeah, I had built a team. I had DJ Mac 10, I had Mandy Red, I had Chana Lee, I had Priscilla J. I had people, you know, because my ears were just, you know, I would just get burnt out from doing it. So it was a team effort, and then we would go through it. We would pick, but every week I would just broadcast, you know, send me music, send me music, send me music. And, you know, I enjoyed it. And we found a lot of diamonds in the rough, you know. And we did some events, and every event was sold out. You know, I think we did 14 events, all sold out. I'm talking about the 300 people venues to 150. Every event sold out. They really showed up. They really supported it. And, you know, I'm grateful for it. But if we didn't make an impact, or we weren't impactful, or we didn't make any type of, you know, noise, I don't think it would have transitioned to me being on the big station.
So now when it comes to, real quick, Roger, before I let you go, when it comes to K104, how do you have an option of what music you get to play, or do they kind of just feeding you the music that they want you to play?
Right now, no, because a lot of that is politics. You know, you have a program director and you have labels that you deal with. So say it's Atlantic Records and they have an artist, and me and, you know, the program director and the president of Atlantic are good friends, and you're good friends. Like, hey, I got this new artist I just signed. Can you play him? And, you know, this is the donation for broadcasting him and et cetera. Or you're, you know, you have access to the show and tickets and, you know, that type of relationship and politics that go into it. I'm just, you know, shooting off the head with this, but I'm starting to understand, you know, more what goes into it. But it's more politics over talent, I would say. But it's not impossible, because when you have a me in the meeting and you're getting now a different 2 cents thrown into the money pot,
Another voice.
you never know, you know, you never know what may come out of that. But the thing is, when you have the same people, and I think, you know, with the hiring of me and a couple other individuals on the station, I think that who knows what it could bring. You know, I'm excited about the future. You know, I think getting me was because you got to think, when I first started on K104, I was working 10 hours a week. You know, I was only on 2 days, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Now I'm on 5 days a week.
which is crazy.
Well, I've been there 2 months.
Working
So-
your way.
Just believe if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Makes sense.
But it looks like change is coming for bigger stations like that.
And that's what we want. As the smallest
That's what we all
community
want.
coming up, that's what we want.
Yeah. Because you can't just do the same shit and expect different results.
Yeah, that's called insanity.
Yeah.
No, but a couple questions to back to KNON. So you mentioned finding a bunch of diamonds, you know, in that, you know, send me music. Who are some of the people that you see from back then are, you know, on their way to success now?
Big X. I did an event with him almost 3 years ago.
That's crazy. And he really
2.5.
blew up like what, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Really like blew up, but he's been grinding.
Crystal Poppin got
Yeah.
really far.
Yeah.
XB got really far. Miss Gold got really far. Rich Greedy, Bumpy Johnson. So many. But I wouldn't say that what we did catapulted them. I just think we were, very honored and privileged to be a part of their
Success.
at the beginning stages of their journey. You know?
That's the best part is when you're at the beginning because you know you were locked in with them and you could see it.
Mexican OT.
Oh, no
Mexican OT
kidding.
won because the good friend of mine, Tex from Hustletown Network, Mexican OT, Hustletown Network would work with me because they're Houston and Dallas, and we would, help showcase a lot of the same artists.
I love that.
So he had told me about OT because he won an event called Straight Outta Texas, and it's where you pay money to be in a contest, and then the winner of the contest wins a prize. And OT was the first winner of the contest.
That's fine.
And then they did a Texas one, which my We Lit show was involved with, and he won the Texas one, which got him a deal.
That's crazy. It kind of sounds like when you're in school and you go to sports, you're like in, what do they call it when you're a district, then you go to nationals, then you go to state.
Exactly. That's exactly what
It's like
OT
the same
did.
thing.
And so don't think these showcases ain't gonna get you nowhere. Don't think these talent shows ain't gonna go nowhere or whatever they're called. Don't think these open mics ain't gonna go get you nowhere. You have to don't think networking events ain't gonna get you nowhere. Everybody has a different road to success. Everybody has a different path. You know what I'm saying? On the road to riches, you're gonna stop for gas.
Yeah,
You may get a flat tire. Your starter may go out, but fix it, work on it, tweak it, get back on the road.
and keep moving.
And everybody's road is different, and everybody's pace is different. But as long as you get to the finish line, and if your finish line is a trophy or a plaque or a deal or money or, just mentally to say I did it, whatever it may be, you'll get there. But don't think you have to take a fucking shortcut. And I think that's what everybody's trying to do. Everybody's trying to go viral. Everybody's trying to do this. And I think everybody, whatever song's popping right now, Sexy Red or whatever, I have to make a song like that. No, you don't.
No.
Just make good music.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna go. Somebody's gonna find it.
Yeah. Because you think the radio makes you know. We go looking for who's hot.
At the moment.
Exactly. Whatever that may be.
And see, that's what's so crazy is that's exactly where
Look
I
at
met.
Four Bats.
Four Bats
is
out of
from
nowhere.
Oak Cliff.
Oh, out of
Look
nowhere.
at that. That ain't rapping. That ain't the number that's singing.
He blew
It's-
up out of nowhere.
And that is, I remember when Post Malone first came out. I did
Blew
his
up.
first show with Brick Mason, shot 24 K Brick. And like at that time, that was 2015, but I'm just saying, like, these are examples where like, it ain't the same formula for everybody. It ain't the same recipe for everybody. Like there's different recipes and it's still great food. Still be a success story.
Yeah, literally, Post Malone blew up from his one song, White Iverson. Literally just made the song and it just started catching traction. People started using it and it blew him up and talent was there. It's funny because you say that too, because I met XB at one of those competitions she was doing. And that's where I first met her. And then she just kept winning a lot of those other little competitions over here in Dallas and everything.
And then
Like,
she had a video on Rock Nation.
and she was coming from Austin, driving out here to do these
Georgia.
competitions. Yep. It's insane. She was just grinding. So whenever we think, like we we're saying again, a 10-year overnight success, but it's really not overnight. People have been grinding for years. People just don't give them the the gratification or the reassurance, hey, you're doing your thing. People, they just like to skim over it.
Yeah. Now, before we wrap up, a couple things I just wanted to, ask. So that song On the Bible, was that the first Christian song you made? Or the Christian related song that you made?
Yes, it was. What'd you think?
Dude, I loved it, bro. Though, you know what, the whole point, when I was doing my research, I saw, K104 DJ. I'm like, cool. But let me get to know who this is, bro. I'm looking everywhere in between to find things about you, Dallas Observer, articles, going back to old music videos you had. I saw that one, Karma. I was like, man, this dude's made so many different kinds of music, bro. I've seen your features and all that. And then I see, On the Bible, and I'm like, damn, I wonder what happened in his life to make him, completely switch genres of music. Mm-hmm. And then now, concluding this interview, it's like, okay, now I know why.
Yeah. And I think when you listen to my music, it'll tell you the whole story. Mm-hmm. And when you see that video on the Bibles of my children in the video, and, when I made that song, that was when I felt that song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When I got that response, I wanted to do it more. And now the song that's out right now just dropped today, so it's an exclusive, called Someone Up Above. We're about to shoot the video with K-Pac Films. It's about a father, and I chose Father's Day weekend for it to release, just like On the Bible did last year, because I think it's a message that fathers need to have this conversation with their kids.
Yep.
Because it's a story about me telling my kids, no matter what happens, just remember there's someone up above. They got you.
Man, you
just saying that, I feel it. I feel it. Just for you saying that, I feel it.
It's true.
Yeah. No,
I feel like we can feel it a lot more too, because we're dads and we have kids or have a kid, so we can relate to everything.
We can resonate with that.
Yeah, deeply.
Check out the song. Let me know if you feel it.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Don't worry. We'll share it all over.
We're gonna plug everything in at the bottom, so you guys can check out all of his music, everything like that. You guys gotta check out K104. What is it? What'd you say? 46?
Man, I'm on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Tuesday night, 12 to 5 o'clock. Man, it's called the After Party Show on K104. Everyone's favorite SA player partner, the Matt Daddy Mexican, the Fly Muchacho, K104, the Latino Al Pacino, because I keep it a G and 104.5, man. You know the vibes. And I'm trying to think of more AKAs. If you got any, let me know. Just keep going.
Oh man.
Hey, with that we gotta end it right there. That was too good. That was too good. That was a good outro right there. Hey, for real though, I really do appreciate you for coming out here, man. I know time is valuable, so I really, really do appreciate you for coming out.
Yes,
here,
sir.
No, man, for sure, man. The whole time I'm like, all right, 5 o'clock. I'm like, all right, traffic, rush hour, all this and that. I'm like, dude, all right, cool. Just be patient. I'm like, I get it. I'm just like, oh man, like. But I'm really glad this happened, man, because I felt like I was okay. Before we wrap up real quick, I was, my dad had called me and he was like, yeah, mijo, I want to tell my story on your podcast, this and that. Long story short, the way you deal with God and the way he's been dealing with God is so similar now. It makes me more reluctant. It makes me less reluctant to have him on and actually have a talk with him, because, as a kid, seeing how you were acting, and now you want to talk about it in 1 year, it's like, you're just making excuses. But now hearing it from another individual, roughly his age, it's like, okay, fine. Let's do it.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, don't think you have to fix yourself before you start going to church and finding God. Just go, and then you'll start wanting, he'll fix you. He'll get you right.
Yeah.
And just because you had a bad experience in any other church, it don't mean don't go. Just go somewhere else.
I like that food analogy. I love that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next episode of Direct Discussions. And thanks for watching the #1 podcast in Texas. We see you at the next one. Thanks, guys.